You're listening to the Practice Slacker Podcast, episode 44. Today's podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at audibletrial.com/ProactiveSlacker. With over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Today's podcast is also brought to you by Patreon. To figure out how you could help infuse our podcast with your awesomeness, visit patreon.com/PSM. Hello and welcome back to the Practice Slacker Podcast, the official podcast of ProactiveSlackerMedia.com. I'm Devin.
And I'm Nick.
And Nick, I don't know if you know this, but this is our first ever live stream podcast.
Yes, it is. I was, in fact, aware.
Okay.
I set up most of it.
Okay. Well, Nick, I wasn't actually asking you if you knew.
It was
one of those
segue for the audience.
Yeah, it was like exposition.
Right.
That way the audience listening in iTunes or our website knows that, guess what? We do live streaming now.
Yes, and video.
Yes.
So it's live and recorded.
Yes, for those of you who don't follow the Shorts and Series podcast, this will be news to you because we did our first ever video podcast last time with the Shorts and Series podcast.
Yes.
And Nick, that was an experience.
It was quite an experience. Before we describe in great excruciating detail said experience, I want to briefly mention that it is snowing. We're having a snowstorm here in Colorado.
Yes.
As we're going live. So if the power goes out, you won't see us anymore.
Yeah.
It won't be live.
We said this is our first ever live stream podcast, and we rely on the live stream video to be able to put out the video podcast later.
Right.
So we have had the lights. You might see it if you're watching the live stream. We have had the lights flicker on and off quite a few times.
Yeah, already.
So if the power goes down and power lines just get destroyed by the ice and the snow, this will be an audio-only podcast.
Yes.
So we cannot control everything, unfortunately.
No. Least of all the weather.
Yes. So that being said, shall we talk about the crazy debacle that was our last video podcast?
Yes. Okay. So we had decided to do live streaming podcasts. We were going to start on Sunday.
Yes.
Sunday night is when we record the Shorts and Series podcast.
Yes.
Devin bought a webcam. It's a nice one.
Which, if you are watching the video podcast, Nick, did I mention that
It's
we're doing
a video podcast?
Yeah. Okay. Did I also mention this is our first live stream podcast?
Yes, you did.
Okay, just want to make sure I belabored the point.
Thank you.
So people knew.
Right.
But that's what you're watching us through right now.
Exactly.
If you're watching that.
Yes, and if you want to talk to us, you can tweet at us at PSM_company. And
yes.
we'll get that tweet.
Yes.
And be able to respond in real time.
That's the wonder of live streaming.
Yes.
So, I have the Twitter pulled open.
Okay.
That is what this laptop is for, Nick.
Right. I was hoping you weren't just like doing weird stuff on it.
No.
Okay, good. Anyway, you bought a webcam, a nice 1080p, awesome HD webcam.
I did.
We hooked it up to the computer. It took us about an hour to realize that your computer, no matter what, just can't handle everything.
No, and there's multiple reasons behind this. One is it's old.
Yes.
Two is I do not take care of the nice things I have. This has fallen onto concrete multiple times.
Right. You in fact dropped it while we were testing everything.
I did.
Yeah.
Granted, it was onto carpet from not very high up.
True, but that's not the worst injury it's ever sustained.
No. It's fallen down a flight of stairs. It's been dropped off of a counter onto a concrete floor, which is why it's nice and dented right there.
Yeah, it's got sweet dents.
Yeah, it's rugged.
Right.
Yeah, that's the message I'm trying to, Coloradan, mountains, rugged.
The dent has opened up a hole in the casing, which allows dust to pour in.
That's probably a good reason why it doesn't work too.
Yeah.
I also use it as a coaster for my drinks, which have multiple occasions tipped over and gotten into the speakers, which is probably can't speak today.
Okay.
Which is probably why the speakers don't work very well. It's
probably.
Fluids have gotten in there multiple times.
Okay.
Coffee.
So the point is, I then had to move my desktop computer from my desk in the other room into this room, including all the monitor setup and everything.
Yes.
Which was kind of annoying. Plug the webcam into it, only to find out that it doesn't run natively on PC without certain applications, which makes sense. After downloading those, we tried Google Hangouts.
Yes.
The servers were down. Google was doing maintenance, I believe, because there were issues with all the Google Plus Hangouts, some YouTube stuff was happening.
Pretty much every Google thing. We'll talk about this more. If you guys listen to the Nerd News podcast, we'll go into excruciating detail with the whole Google servers and whatnot on our next episode of the Nerd News podcast. But basically, the servers have been down for multiple Google products, including Hangout when we desperately needed to use it.
Exactly. Pretty much if we had used it 12 hours previously or 5 hours later, it would have been just fine.
Yeah, but we were in the butter zone of right when Google Hangout specifically, no other Google product, just Google Hangout was not working.
Exactly. So we could not do it live. We then went through roughly 4 hours.
I would say 4.5.
4.5 hours of both of us on separate computers trying to find a program that can record video from a webcam.
Yes.
Those either don't exist or are very expensive.
Which baffles me.
Yes.
Out of all things, you would think, it's 2014, Nick.
Right.
We're doing live video across the internet. Mm-hmm. That's pretty impressive.
It is.
It's like stuff from Star Trek.
Absolutely. Up to 2 viewers, even.
Yeah, we have 2 people watching the live stream.
Our monitor's this way, which is why we keep pointing that way.
Yeah, so hello, 2 viewers. What baffles me is you would think it'd be the most simple thing to just record video from your webcam.
Yeah.
Just like any other camera.
I bought a webcam.
Yes.
I want to record with it.
Exactly.
Why else do you buy a camera?
Exactly. So, because, camcorder, DSLR, whatever, you could record with it. I would assume
easily.
You could do it with a webcam.
No.
There should be, in my opinion, an option with webcams.
Right.
If the computer registers the webcam, you should be able to just pull up an interface, like click on the webcam and hit record.
Yes.
And it records to your desktop.
That should definitely be part of the driver.
No. And I thought, well, then surely there's software that's free and you could just download it and record from your webcam. No. That was why it took us 5 hours to get started.
And eventually the solution was not that we found a program that worked, but that we spent so much time trying to. Google fixed their servers.
Yeah.
And we were able to broadcast it with it wasn't live, but we were broadcasting to their servers. That's how we recorded the video.
5 hours later.
Starting at 1:45-ish in the morning.
Yeah, so that was not fun at all. Also,
probably the worst experience of podcasting we've had yet.
Oh, yeah.
By far.
Definitely. Well, because first off, we were so excited to get started with video and live streaming.
Yeah, it was going to be a great night. I was super happy all day at work. I was like, I can't wait to get off and go do this video podcast. I'm excited.
Yeah.
And then fate just punched us in the face.
Well, and the worst part was trying to find an application. That's what took us 4.5 hours, was literally just Googling webcam recorder in Google and trying to find an application.
Yeah.
They were either you had to pay like $30 for just something to record your webcam footage, or they were spyware and malware. So your computer now has
a lot of bloatware, mostly.
Yeah, your computer now has DigiAids.
Yeah.
Which
sounds so bad.
It's STDs for computers.
Right.
Your computer's just laced with, digital crabs and whatnot. I thought,
okay.
I thought the audience needed that mental imagery.
What I pictured was tiny little crabs, made out of electrons, crawling across my motherboard and switching positive electric nodes.
No, it has internet syphilis.
I feel like you spent some time compiling a list of these terms to use.
Yes. Also, I just want to point out we now have people live tweeting us.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm super excited about. One of which, just want to throw out there, is Daryl Darnell of Golden Spiral Media, which for me, Nick, this is a monumentous podcast for multiple reasons. 1, first live stream podcast.
Yes.
2, the very person who inspired us to do
start
podcasting.
Yeah.
Podcasting.
I'm sorry, my mouth went numb there with excitement. I don't know.
Yeah, so the guy who inspired us to do podcasting is now tweeting at us and viewing our podcast live.
You've built the suspense. What did he say?
Nick, I need to build the suspense even more. Or should I just say it?
What's the point of it live if you're going to delay it by this much?
Okay, well, it's already on a 30-second delay.
Right, but you've elongated that to another full minute.
Yes. And I love... Okay, so we got a tweet from Dan, who's our fellow co-host on the Nerd News podcast.
Yes.
And a tweet from Daryl. Both of them are about the same thing.
All right.
I want to point out. And I find this as a very interesting psychological breakdown as to which one of us is cooler.
Okay.
Nick. So Dan tweeted at us, Nick's beard or Devynn's pompadour? Which will emerge victorious? And that's what Dan calls my hairstyle.
The pompadour.
Is the pompadour.
It kind of fits. It's not as poofy as the older versions, but yeah. It's like a new wave pompadour.
Yeah.
That is my new favorite thing that Dan's ever said.
Okay. I just want to point out, obviously, Nick's beard will always emerge victorious, Dan, because it's a beard.
Yes. The internet.
It's on the lower half of his face.
Loves beards.
It's automatically better.
Yeah.
And Daryl says, Devyn, you should try growing a beard. Your cool factor will be tripled. So what we've learned, Nick,
is that I'm the coolest?
Is that I should just put down my microphone and walk out that door.
Okay.
We should clone you and have two Nicks talking to each other.
I don't think that would work. I feel like I would hate myself if I met me.
Okay.
I do.
Do you really think so?
I think so. I feel like I would think I was a jerk.
Okay. One other thing I want to point out real quick for anyone joining us in the live stream and exclusively in the live stream, we have yet to figure out a way to utilize these fancy mics that we're using for the live stream. So you guys are hearing us through the webcam's built-in microphones, which are not the best.
They're not bad.
No.
But they're not our, $600 audio setup.
Exactly.
Basically, we're having problems interfacing between the hardware and the computer.
Yes.
So it's just not they're not talking to each other. So we can't talk to you.
Yes.
With these mics. That mic works.
Exactly. And so basically, for those of you watching who are like, wow, those look like really fancy mics. Why does it sound so horrible?
That's why.
That is why. We figure, we probably only have a few people watching the live stream at first. So it's best to save the audio quality for people who are going to be listening later on iTunes or our website.
Okay.
Because we have
Devyn
more
has a fancy excuse for we couldn't get it to work.
Nick, why do you have to say that? That makes it sound so much less impressive.
Do you see why I would hate myself if I met me?
Although, I will say, we've compensated for the lack of audio quality by putting up a very fancy drawing of our logo.
You can see that Devyn's drawing skills rival his Photoshop skills. They're on par.
I'm detecting sarcasm.
No.
I would argue that my Photoshopping skills are far better.
I would think so. When you have access to fonts, you can't write like that. It's automatically better.
Exactly. And speaking of people interacting with us, I want to point out we got a new comment on our Facebook page.
All right.
We have a new and I also think this is interesting. So we got a comment from Victoria Stillwell on Facebook. She says, I just discovered your YouTube video, Why Online Job Applications Suck.
That was posted a long time ago.
It was posted a long time ago. But I love that nature of internet video. How it's...
Well, the other thing is that was posted a long time ago. Internet online job applications have not been updated since.
True.
And they probably won't be for a while.
Well, I like that facet of internet video, how it's always a thing that will be relevant to the people who are interested in it.
Yeah.
Whereas TV shows, they eventually... you always have the cult classics where there's always some fan base around it.
Like old Doctor Who.
Doctor Who, Lost, Fringe, especially sci-fi shows,
Yeah. Well, I feel like if you get the nerd involved, then it's immemorialized forever.
True. Exactly. But, again, with the vast majority, they eventually fade and whatnot. Internet video, that will happen as well, but it has a unique niche in, I guess, the online community. So anyway, she says... I just discovered your YouTube video, Why Online Job Applications Suck. I'm in the middle of job application hell, and this cheered me right up. And she's from the UK. Okay. Now, I want to point out that I think almost all of our listeners, at least the ones that have taken the time to interact with us,
are from other countries.
Which I think is very interesting.
It's very interesting.
I think it's awesome, too.
We have our most loyal, dedicated fan lives in Germany.
Jan Schneider.
We have a correspondent in Australia,
Ranji,
yes,
who sent us an email this week.
She did, yeah. We'll definitely get to that. And then this Victoria Stillwell, excuse me,
yes,
from the UK. I was close. I was a few letters off.
Yes,
I feel like she'll forgive me if she's watching, which I doubt.
Daryl just tweeted at us again, saying, "If you only knew of someone who has done live streaming, maybe you could ask that person for some tips." And bacon.
He's going to make us bacon?
I don't see how that would work well, seeing as we're in different states. But if there is a way, Daryl, to send bacon through the internets, Yes.
You would think the Epic Mealtime guys would have thought of it already.
You would. I'm realizing this is perhaps our most random podcast we've yet done.
Yes.
But that's the point. For those of you who may be new to this podcast, this is our talk show podcast.
Yes.
Because we are prone to going on tangents.
Absolutely.
Especially in our other podcast, the Shorts and Series podcast, where we review.
We have some pretty bad ones on there.
Yeah.
Tangents.
Yeah. We have the Shorts and Series podcast where we prove that online video is a legitimate entertainment force to be reckoned with. And so we review solid quality short films and web series on that podcast. And we have the Nerd News podcast where we talk science, tech, all that kind of stuff. The Film Frenzy podcast that you do with your sister.
Yes.
That is, film review.
Right.
And, of course, those are supposed to be very on topic, very specific, yet our minds are always like,
especially yours.
Yes. Oh, I think I have like ADD or something.
I think a mild case for sure.
I also think I have a mild case of OCD.
Yes, I definitely have that. I think that I can't always keep you on track because I'm so interested in the direction your tangents are going that I want to follow you on them. And they're so interesting to me, so it's harder for me to keep you on track.
I'm going to accept that as a compliment.
Okay, it is one, so
And so this is basically our wild card podcast where all of our tangents gather.
Yes. We try to save them. We can't always do that. Do you remember the argument we got in?
About eggs?
Well, that was on this one.
Okay,
so
good.
That's good. But we got into an argument about driving on the Shorts and Series podcast.
We did.
We took 20 minutes out of an hour-long podcast to argue about Devynn's driving habits.
I feel like that's hyperbole. I feel like I know that's hyperbole because I edited it.
Okay.
Which, by the way,
we spent
I love
20 minutes unedited yelling about this.
Yeah.
But apparently he edited it down.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But anyways, so we mentioned that weather here is crazy right now.
Right.
And I just want to mention weather in the U.S. has been psycho. Did you hear about what's going on in Georgia?
No. I know that it's been like hot, cold flashes in Texas.
Yeah. And I think one of the people watching the live stream is from Texas, if she's still watching the live stream.
Okay.
I know Austin had an issue
Yes.
where it rained and then
froze.
So it was just
Ice. Yeah.
Basically, the same thing happened in Georgia. If you look up pictures of this thing.
Yeah, I did. I saw especially one bad picture of like a hill, and there's just cars that have crashed into each other lining both sides of the hill.
Yeah. The one I saw was just the highways and cars, just entire highway backed up, and they're just parked there.
Yeah.
Because basically, same thing happened there. I mean, this is Georgia. This is really far south.
I have never heard of snow in Georgia.
Nor have I. This was ice was their main problem. Right. Again, where it got wet, then froze. And, as a northerner, Colorado, I'm like, snow, ice. Ha. We're so superior. We could drive in this. Well, another podcast that we listened to, the Rooster Teeth podcast, they're based out of Austin.
Right.
They brought this up, and I didn't even think about this. They don't have snow trucks.
Yeah.
They have no really financially solid reason to have them.
Exactly. That blew my mind when I realized that because it never snows, there's no reason they would have ice or snow plows or any government agencies to deal with the snow. Exactly.
So when I heard that, I'm like, well, without salt and magnesium chloride and gravel.
Can you imagine if our roads never got cleaned up?
Oh, God.
We would be stuck in our houses for multiple weeks at a time in winter.
The Coloradan economy would just
fluctuate wildly.
Well, summer would be great.
Yeah.
And then winter, we'd all be poverty, like burning money to stay alive.
I don't know if it'd get that bad.
No, it wouldn't. But yeah. So definitely it's been crazy. Just because we've, up until I think today, it's been super mild.
Yeah, it was pretty reasonable. And then today got very cold and snowy all of a sudden.
And Nick, are you ready for perhaps the most epic and awesome segue ever?
I feel underprepared.
Oh, wait. Before we go to my tangent, I mean, not my tangent, my segue.
To a tangent.
To a tangent.
Right.
A segue to another tangent.
Okay.
We just got another tweet from Daryl. Can you say tangent cast? The artwork could be a cat driving a car off a cliff eating bacon.
I feel like so many images of that probably already exist on the internet.
They do.
Yeah.
But also the marketing of that, I think, would attract an audience that we don't necessarily want.
The tangent cast? I don't know. Maybe that could be a subtitle.
The tangent cast?
The tangent cast.
The Proactive Slacker podcast. Official tangent cast. That's hard to say. Tangent cast of ProactiveSlackerMedia.
Yeah,
Something
you're
like
right. It is hard to say, but you've mastered.
I like this bacon idea, though.
I like bacon.
Anything in life with bacon. If we could
Okay.
find a way.
I want to be. I love bacon. I am known at work as I won't eat a pizza unless they add bacon to it.
Well, what baffles me is you've stopped eating pizzas altogether. What is wrong with you?
Well, I haven't. I just have ceased liking them as much because I have so many of them. Have you ever eaten pizza 4, 5, 6, 8 times a week?
No.
Right.
Okay.
You wouldn't like it as much if you did. Trust me. Trust me.
Fair point.
And I've come up with some interesting concoctions. I like having a mound of bacon with some pineapple and chicken in it on a pizza.
When you say mound and you did that hand motion, you made it seem like you have literally like a foot worth of bacon.
Not a foot, but sometimes as much as 2 inches of bacon on a pizza.
Good Lord.
I'm not kidding. I like bacon.
Well, Nick, now the question is which one of us is going to live longer? Because you're doing that to your body with bacon. I am destroying...
You're malnourishing yourself.
Well, I'm malnourishing myself and destroying my kidneys and liver with energy drinks.
Okay. Usually it's alcohol that people destroy their livers with, so I guess you have to step up from those guys.
Well, I'm not 21 yet.
Oh, okay. So you're saying that's coming?
I hope not.
Okay.
I definitely hope. I'll stick to energy drinks.
Okay.
I'm just fine with
Four
those.
Locos?
No,
No?
definitely not.
Okay.
So, anyways, we're talking about the weather here and how it's been super icy.
Yeah.
And this is where my amazing segue comes into play, Nick.
Okay. So you've completely derailed us, backtracked us to a previous conversation we've moved on from to segue from that one to the new one?
Nick, this is the Tangent Cast.
Okay. One of our recurring tangents is poor segues.
Yes. Nick, do you know what else is icy?
Oh, God. What?
Iceland.
Oh, okay.
I thought that was pretty clever.
Well, you thought incorrectly, my friend.
Okay.
I thought you listed me as pun master. And
Well,
that's what you come up with?
Your puns are actually good.
Oh, okay.
So you're the official pun master.
So you're like the...
Mine are purposefully bad.
Okay.
So...
So they help highlight the fact that mine are better?
Yes.
Okay. I'll live with that.
All right. So anyways, for those of you who've been a long-time listener of this podcast in particular, you'll know that I'm going to be going to Iceland in May just to, search out some ministry opportunities and whatnot while I'm out there. I also have a pen pal, Johanna, that I've been, emailing back and forth with. And she was telling me that New Year's there is amazing.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, well, she's like, well, we will launch off fireworks and everything. I'm like, yeah, well, everyone launched off fireworks, so, Then she sent me a video today.
Sure.
Of New Year's Day in Iceland this year. And this guy had basically taken some kind of camera. He didn't really show what kind of camera it was. And mounted it to a, remote control quadcopter.
Most quadcopters have cameras built into them now.
Okay. That's probably what he did then. Again, he never showed the device itself.
Right.
But then he pilots the thing up into the air. And this is just like a normal suburban neighborhood.
Okay.
Pilots it up in the air to where you get the entire cityscape of Reykjavik. Fireworks freaking everywhere. Like, it wasn't like here, and I'm not sure if this is true for every state, but at least here in Colorado. I feel like it's true for almost all over the U.S.
Probably most of them. Here in Colorado, it's a bit harder because we're so dry. We have a lot of bans on fireworks, so we don't set off wildfires. But
I don't think you could legally purchase fireworks here either.
No, you cannot, because...
It's even gone down to, like, kind of pettiness where sparklers, I think you can't use... Last I checked.
Really? I have not checked on those. I've always used them regardless of the legality.
True.
So.
I've also heard, I'm not sure how true this is, but like the little things wrapped in paper you throw on the ground that make a snap?
Yeah.
Somebody told me those are illegal. I'm like,
that's not true.
Okay,
You can buy those at King Soopers. That's not true.
King Soopers, quickly turning into the black market, turns out.
Okay.
But
party poppers with confetti, also legal. Quite legal.
Okay.
Okay.
I wasn't questioning that.
But the one shaped like a gun, not in schools.
Yeah, so basically a lot of Coloradans to obtain their legal fireworks have to go to Wyoming.
Wyoming, yeah.
And back. But here, it's a lot of the city itself puts on a firework display.
Yes.
And it's usually at a rec center or a field.
Yeah.
Each city does their own. Thornton, by far, is the best in my opinion.
Well, it's also one of the richest cities as far as the government goes.
Yeah, so we could afford a lot more fireworks.
Apparently.
Taxpayer dollars well spent in my opinion.
Definitely.
But in Reykjavik, good Lord. The guy pilots the little thing up and you get the whole cityscape. Literally almost everybody is launching fireworks out of their yard. All at the same time, like nonstop. And they're not just like the dinky little ones here where it's like, zoom. It's like hardcore, like legitimate fireworks that you would see at a firework display here. But like almost everybody launching them off nonstop.
That is so awesome.
And it's just, and it almost gets hit by one at one point. And it kind of like pilots the little thing, the little quadcopter away from it. I'm like, I want to live here.
That's pretty awesome. I imagine they are not as concerned about firework setting off fires with all the ice around.
True. It is called Iceland,
Right.
Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure if
Right.
you were aware of that.
I see. Gotcha.
True.
Okay.
So there's that. Another thing, I forgot about this.
Iceland.
No, about the video podcast.
Okay.
I forgot this.
Video.
I should have talked about this when we were talking about the whole like debacle putting it together.
Okay.
Editing it was a freaking pain
Was it? I was not a part of that.
because we captured the video this way,
Yes.
and
For those of you who don't know, when you broadcast a video live on YouTube, it then uploads the entire live broadcast as one long video that you can watch on that channel. So you don't have to be live to watch the whole thing.
yes, so I downloaded that video and then put in like the opening intro sequence and the little title cards and whatnot. And of course, I wanted to have the best audio quality I could. So I was thinking, oh, well, I'll just take the audio from our recorder,
Right. Our
And
fancy high-tech audio.
and then put that in the sequence, right?
Right.
It worked, but not the way I was hoping. At the frame,
Okay.
I'm thinking what was wrong is something was different between the frame rate of the video and the audio, because when I
Okay.
drag and dropped the audio into the video editor and synced it up so that we were, in sync with our
Right.
audio, it would slowly slip out of synchronization. So every
Interesting.
like 3 minutes, I would have to go in, clip the audio, and drag it back into place. So that was not fun.
That sounds really annoying.
It was.
And it also sounds like certain viewers would be like, okay, this doesn't feel right. Oh, there it goes again.
Yeah.
Kind of like a
That's
refresh.
well, have you ever had that with movies?
Yeah,
There's
especially
been-
with streaming on Netflix and whatnot.
I've never had that on Netflix, but back in the old days of DVD,
Oh, old school disc based.
going to
Oh.
Blockbuster, renting
I
ourselves
remember Blockbuster.
a 3-day rental.
3 days. Wow.
Yeah, or you could get the 5-day rental. Man, Blockbuster. I remember those are good days.
I use Blockbuster like Redbox. I would go in, rent a movie, and take it back the next day.
Yeah, I never personally used it, but my mom would rent them all the time.
Well,
I
yeah,
remember-
I meant as a family. Like my parents would buy it or whatnot. But.
Right. I remember when I was younger, we rented Star Wars Episode 3.
Okay, Revenge of the Sith.
And my mom hadn't seen it. I'm like, oh, Mom, you have to watch this. You have to watch this. Because this is
So
before
good.
I became enlightened and realized that the prequel trilogy is nowhere near as good as the original.
Right, but it's different when you're a kid and
Yeah.
you go to see it in the theaters.
Oh, yeah.
I had a I was like 7, I believe, when the episode 1 came out, Phantom Menace with Darth Maul.
Yes.
I had a Darth Maul like hockey jersey, and it had like his face on it and said Darth Maul, and then on the back it said Darth Maul. That was my favorite shirt for a long time. I was so excited to see that movie, and I loved Darth Maul so much. It was like my favorite movie for a long time.
Yeah, when it first came out, I was like, whoa,
Uh-huh.
lightsabers and
Yeah.
robots, and it was amazing. I even had, at the time, 2 poison dart frogs as pets,
Oh yeah.
and I named them Anakin and Darth Maul.
Wow. Did
Yeah.
they fight ever?
No.
Oh,
they did
that's
not.
kind of lame.
So,
Did they chop any other ones in half?
not that I was aware of.
Okay.
Never saw that take place.
Okay.
Maybe they did when I turned my back, but, you never know.
Sure.
Where were we going with all this?
Oh, you were talking about renting Star Wars Episode 3.
Yes. So basically, we rented it because I'm like, Mom, you have to watch this. This is
Right.
amazing. And starting at the beginning of the DVD, the audio progressively got more and more out of sync throughout the entire DVD.
Interesting.
So, but like just barely. So it was just annoying enough.
Right. Yeah, it's always annoying because I feel like your brain is more adept at processing the audio faster, and it's trying to sync it up with the visuals and just can't accomplish that. And it just leads to this almost like dizzying sensation.
Yeah. Well, and at first, when it's just starting to slip out of sync, you're like, is it or is it not? And then
Yeah.
you spend too much time like watching their mouths.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
you're not actually enjoying the movie.
Yeah. I feel like no director said, okay, at this part, the audio will sync out, and they'll try to stare at the mouth. So focus in on that.
Right.
It never happened.
And so, basically, by the end of the movie, it was like 3-second delay. And I was like,
Wow.
this is awful. This is horrible. Mom, Star Wars is good. Trust me.
Trust me.
Um,
If you could understand it, it would be fantastic.
yeah, but Blockbuster, those were the days.
Yeah, I remember they're having most of them closed earlier this month, I believe, or maybe it was last month. But they,
Was it really just this month?
well, a lot of them were trying to stay open as long as they
I
could.
thought they died out decades ago.
No, they just became much, much less successful. They were people posting pictures of the blowout sales that everyone was having. I know my dad picked up like 30 DVDs at the closest one to our house. So
honestly, though, Netflix, I would say, is the best purchase I've ever made. I have
Yes.
never regretted it. It's
no.
so convenient. Just like,
Mhm.
log in, play, Breaking Bad.
I remember
Yay.
I thought that about Netflix before they had streaming, and they just mailed you movies.
Really?
Yeah. I used to love that. We would watch a movie and send it back, and we could like get 2 or 3 movies a month. We'd have a new movie every weekend. It was fantastic. And we didn't have to do anything other
Right.
than update the queue. Although it got pretty annoying when my sister and I would fight over like queue positions. And so all of my, like she would go in and move all of the movies I wanted to see to the bottom and all of hers to the top. And it was pretty annoying.
Gotcha. But yeah, speaking of Blockbuster, first off, that's something I've told this story a few times, but I'm quite a bit older than my other siblings.
Right.
I think the smallest age gap is 7 years.
Which is very significant.
Yes. And so I've asked my siblings before, just on a whim, like, how do you think I'm older than Google? No. Well, I'm older than Google. Also, do you know what a VHS is? No.
Is that how they talk? No. No.
That's my sibling imitation voice.
Okay.
And
Is it flattering? I feel like it's not.
no, it's definitely not.
Okay. Are any of them watching right now?
Probably not. I'd have to say
Okay.
they're all school kids,
Okay.
and it's 11 p.m.
Sure.
So probably not.
Okay.
Probably not watching. But I've been getting super nostalgic recently over
About-
weird things.
I feel like that's just you
Probably.
and not your age.
I feel like I'm a 40-year-old in a 20-year-old's body. Because I'm like, oh, well, those are the good old days when we had this. Man. It could just be that I'm reaching the age where I could actually look back and be like, I remember when. Because that hadn't been an advent in my life until fairly recently.
Yeah. Yeah. You can always say I remember, but then there's like, it's weird when you can put yourself in another body and your memory is trying to sync up your current. Okay.
What are you
What
saying?
I'm saying is
You put
when you
myself
were
in,
7,
put myself in another
when
body?
you were 7, you were like this tall, right?
Yes.
Yes. Now you're much taller.
Yes.
But when you're remembering 7, your brain is still thinking of you being you,
okay.
and that's disconcerting. I think that's the turning point between, like, saying I can remember when.
That wasn't the point I was making at all.
Okay.
I'm talking about culture that was relevant when I was a certain age. I can now look back and be like, that's no longer a thing.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm just cultureless.
And that's fairly recent. Like, it used to be, and of course, when you're younger, things seem to go by slower. So like, oh, like way back when, like 2 years ago,
That was a long
all
time.
that time ago, we were still playing the same games, watching the same movies, doing all the same stuff. Now it's like, I remember dial-up. Wow.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But anyways, so been getting nostalgic about a few things in particular. Do you remember, Nick, homestarrunner.com?
I do. I recently, I don't remember how. I was reminded of Trogdar, though, and so I had to look up that song.
Yep.
Burninating the people,
Burninating countryside
the villagers.
and their thatch roof cottages
Yep.
because he was Trogdor.
Yeah. You draw an S and then another S.
So good. For those of you who have no clue what we're talking about, homestarrunner.com was basically the first site that proved that you can do regular entertainment content and have it be successful
Yes.
on the internet.
It was very strange Flash animation,
'Cause
essentially.
I remember watching it back in middle school.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. Do you remember albinoblacksheep.com?
Oh, yes.
That was the site that got me addicted to internet video. Watching that dumb strawberry video again and again and again.
I have no clue
It
what
was
you're
like
talking
7. It was about a strawberry that was refusing to let a little tiny like 2-year-old sounding kid eat him.
about. Gotcha.
And then the kid gets so mad he just squishes the strawberry at the end. And I'm not saying it was a good video, but I'm saying that when I was young, I watched it relentlessly.
Okay. The whole point I'm trying to make, Nick, is
Okay.
things have changed.
Right.
Like, do you
We
remember?
got that.
I remember distinctly. I distinctly remember this. Wanting to watch the trailer for Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban because I was a huge Potter fan.
Yes, you were.
I'm like, yes, the new movie's coming out. We have to watch it, Dad.
Right.
Dad. Can we
Right.
watch it? Can we watch it? And so Dad goes on to iTunes because I remember Apple used to have like maybe they still do the movie trailer section.
Yeah, they do. They do, definitely.
And that's like where we would always go to get our movie trailers before YouTube was a thing.
It's where my dad still does.
Okay.
So
your dad's a
Just-
little outdated.
I don't know because they've updated it quite a bit, so it still works and it's a lot like YouTube, but
Gotcha. But I remember pulling up the trailer, and there was like, we were watching it in 360p, which was a big deal.
Oh,
Like, oh, we're gonna watch it in 360p, and buffering.
Full screen it. We can see every detail.
And still buffering. And
Yeah.
still buffering. Let's go grocery shopping, and when we come back, it might be done buffering, and we can watch it. Nope, still not done. Okay, let's we'll watch it later tonight after dinner, maybe.
Really?
That's literally, yeah, because I wanted to watch it. I distinctly remember I'm gonna watch this.
Wow.
In 360p, it's gonna be amazing. And then I watched the trailer, and of course, the trailer is like 2 minutes long.
Right.
So.
And took like 4 hours to buffer.
Mm-hmm. Also.
Wow. I was putting that in terms of today's internet connection speeds, and that didn't work. It didn't make sense.
Well, it's also, do you remember the supplies list you would need for like elementary school or middle school? And it'd be like a 4 gigabyte hard drive, like thumb drive, and they're like $50.
I don't remember that being on the list at all.
Oh, well, I do.
Okay.
I remember we needed them for computer class at school.
Okay, maybe so. I don't know. I never paid attention to those
Maybe
lists.
it wasn't for. Maybe it was like a gig, but it was still like $50.
That's pretty ridiculous.
And now I'm just like, for example, at work we got a new backup hard drive that's 3 terabytes, and I'm like, wow, 3 terabytes. That's pretty. It's pretty hefty.
A lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah.
But I know in 5 years we're gonna have like thumb drives that are like 4 terabytes. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
doop, time to edit my 4K video.
Well, the weirdest thing is the smallest micro SD, smaller than a penny in size. It can hold, like, I believe it's the Library of Congress
Good Lord.
on this. It's
Yeah.
like this big.
Well, I was editing a wedio.
A wedio?
A wedio. I was editing. I was editing a wedding video.
Oh, okay. There
When
we go.
you-
That makes more
When
sense.
you put the 2 words together, you get wedio.
Okay. That makes more sense. I thought you were just butchering video.
That could be a good, like, you put together a portfolio site and just, it's a professional wedio maker.
No, that would not be good. No one would click on that. No one would know what that meant.
Okay. Well, that's why the website would explain it.
Right, but you would have to get them to the website first.
Good point.
Internet marketing 101.
Anyways, so I used a 32 gigabyte flash drive for that.
Right.
That was lent to me by my church. And literally, you had the metal piece that actually insert into the computer, which was the standard length. And then beyond that, it was literally just like a Tic Tac sized
It's tiny, yeah.
drive.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose a wedding video
Yeah.
because I'm going to miss. It was tiny. And it was
Yep.
32 gigs.
I don't understand that form factor. I think it's designed for laptop use, so like you plug it into a laptop and you can still fit the laptop into bags with it plugged in. But I feel like that's too small.
True.
And then they always have that little like loop on the end that you can put like a wire or string through or whatever to tie it to stuff and give it a loop or put it on a key ring or something. And that seems very strange to me. Like I would never do that.
Yeah.
I much prefer the standard like inch long.
Well, yeah, and I heard a theory that really they just give you that so you have something to hold on to.
Yeah.
Like the drives are that small.
They are, yeah.
But so another thing that I've been getting really nostalgic about has been especially I was driving here and I got nostalgic about it because I was listening to 93.3 and
Sure.
the Beastie Boys song came on. I'm like, oh, Guitar Hero flashback.
Oh, man.
And I so badly in that moment wanted to play Guitar Hero.
Yeah, but just for that moment, trust me, play it.
Yeah,
You won't
no.
want to anymore.
No, yeah,
you
I
won't
know.
want to.
We have it at my apartment.
Okay.
And we've tried plugging it in and playing it, and we played it for maybe a day. And we're like, okay.
I know. I played that game so much. I got 97% on a song on Expert, I think was the best I got. I played it so much.
And that was one of those things that's baffling how quickly it just faded out of existence.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't like people got, like angry or anything or just like,
No.
this is a horrible game. It was just like, yeah, this thing's really popular and, it's gone.
Yeah, it mystified me. I remember as it was starting to wane in popularity, I went to a birthday party. I believe it was like 14th or 15th birthday party of one of my friends. And towards the end of the night, it was like 2 a.m., he plugged in Guitar Hero 3 or whatever. And we all started playing. Everyone sucked. I didn't understand. I was like, I can't wait for my turn to show up, everybody. And then, I played on Expert immediately, and I hadn't played in a while, so I didn't do very good, but I did good. I passed the song on Expert, which is, And then some kid, I don't remember his name, went on Expert and picked like 3 different songs. Got 100% on all of them, like right away. Like he had played so much guitar. It was all he did. And like, what do you apply that to? Nothing.
Definitely
nothing.
not real guitar skills.
No, it doesn't. Because I then proceeded to take guitar lessons. Doesn't help at all.
Nope.
No. I could play it on Expert on Guitar Hero. I don't even know where to begin on a real guitar.
Yeah, it's one of those things where in retrospect I'm kind of ashamed of how much time I put into that.
I am absolutely ashamed. Yeah, it was bad. I bragged about it all the time at school. I was like, I did this, and I felt happy.
Yep.
Thanks for depressing me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
My goal on all of our podcasts is to degrade, demean, and humiliate you as much as possible. And I feel like I, in general, succeed fairly well at that.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
You're very welcome. I will continue to do so. It will be our shtick, and people will enjoy it. You don't seem to approve.
I'm just looking forward to years of this.
Years?
Yeah.
Well, like I said last podcast, we're going to be doing this till we die.
Exactly.
Literally once a week, every week, until we die.
Okay, that's not true. We don't do every week. We sometimes have holidays.
That's true. We did take the holidays off because, sleep and family.
Sure.
And friends.
Okay.
Well, and then speaking of sleep, we already talked about it, but we didn't get recording the last podcast.
Yeah, till 2 in the morning.
And then, of course, we were up for another hour recording it.
Yep.
And then I had to drive home, which is a good half-hour drive.
Yeah.
I got to bed at like 3:45, and since then, my sleep cycle has been absolutely destroyed.
Completely threw mine off. I had to, I slept way too much the next day and worked an evening shift. And then normally I get off and go to bed pretty soon because I have to get up in the morning and make a morning shift the very next day,
right?
Which is a sucky schedule. But I was so tired at work because I like stayed up all night long because I had slept in too late. It was just a mess.
Yeah, and for me, I work almost exclusively opening shifts now.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, usually I edit at least a bit before I go to bed, but I got home at like 3:30, went to bed at 3:45. I'm like, no.
I can't do it.
No.
Yeah.
I have to be up and at work. Or wait, no. I didn't work that day.
No,
Never mind.
You didn't.
Yeah. So I did sleep in.
Yeah, but then that throws you off because you get too much sleep and then
exactly.
you're
so the next
awake all night.
The next 2 days, again, I worked opening shifts. So I was incredibly exhausted. Not like tired, but just like I feel like there's a difference between being tired and being exhausted.
Yeah.
I was exhausted. Like I didn't feel sleepy. I was just worn out. Just like, ugh.
Yeah.
And of course, when I get off of work, I'm like, then I get tired. I get off of work, I'm like, I just want to sleep, but I have to edit and I have to do stuff. And because
you had to synchronize the video audio.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Well, and for those of you watching, it's basically like, yeah, we do have normal jobs, but then this is also a job. Like this tacks on, I would say, between 10 to 20 hours a week. Usually not 20, unless something ambitious comes up that we get too dedicated to. But like 10 to 15 hours extra a week of stuff that we have to do. So normally I get off of work and then I do more work.
Yeah, so yeah.
And so I was like, I want
35, 40 hours of normal work.
Yeah.
Then more work here and then sleep.
Yes.
So.
And it's like, I just got off of work. I want to take a nap, but I can't because I have to work.
Yeah, and it's easy to complain about, but it's so much fun.
Oh, it is.
We
like
love
I wouldn't change a thing.
Absolutely.
But I would like to sleep as well.
Yeah. So if like governmental entities are listening, can you extend the day to another hour so Devin can get more sleep?
I think that's a rather outlandish request, and I do not think they will honor it. You could certainly try, and I thank you on my behalf.
Right, you're welcome.
But I don't think they're going to go for that.
It's not going to happen.
Okay.
Should we move to like a planet with a slower spin so we have more time in the day?
We could, but I feel like that'd be infeasible.
Oh, okay.
Internet connection speeds would be incredibly slow.
They would. I don't think live podcasting from a different planet would be possible.
No, and videos will take forever to upload.
That's true.
Possibly a couple centuries.
Nah.
You're right. They wouldn't upload at all.
Well,
there's no internet out there, Nick.
No, but you can still send information. It would be a different format.
True. It'd just take forever.
It would.
So all that to say, basically my days I've been super exhausted until about 8, and then all of a sudden I have energy again, and I'm like, no, but I have to go to bed. Body, stop.
That's the worst because there's like nothing you can do. I usually sit in bed, stare at the ceiling for an hour or two if that happens.
Yeah. So basically, it actually I got back from work and I'm like, there's some animation stuff and graphic design you have to get done, and And I took an hour and a half nap and then headed here.
All right.
So, and now I'm
Nice.
alert. And now
Yeah.
I have to open tomorrow.
I'm sorry.
And I'm probably not going to get much sleep because
No.
I'm entirely alert.
I don't think you will.
But again, I love it. And being able to do something you love, even if you don't really make much money,
Yeah.
with like no money, like $0
$0.
with it, it's still fun.
Speaking
do.
of money,
Yes,
this podcast is brought to you by Audible.com.
that it is.
Over 150,000 titles, downloadable titles, across all types of literature.
Nick, you want to know something interesting?
Yeah.
That's a lot of books.
It's a lot of books.
Also,
it could fit on a drive.
you know what else?
Huh.
It's a legal way to read a book while driving a car.
It is. Yeah, you're listening to the book. Someone
Yes.
reads it to you. It's the lazy way to read a book as well.
Yes.
But sometimes the most effective.
also occasionally just more interesting anyway.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you get like some
Sometimes accents can add to the book. Yeah.
Yeah, like just get some good
Mhm.
voice acting, and it just kind of brings the book to life in a way that you normally wouldn't think of, which is really cool. And I've heard Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy,
Yes.
read by Stephen Fry.
That's going to be the one I'm going to do.
Yes.
I'm going to sign up for the trial.
So
And
if you
do that.
guys are looking for an audiobook to read, or more like listen to,
Right.
that'd be definitely the one we'd recommend. First off, it's Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Our favorite book of all time.
If you would consider yourself a nerd, then this is a must read or must listen. Also, it's read by Stephen Fry.
Amazing guy.
If you guys don't know, he plays Mycroft in the
Mhm.
Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes films.
Yes.
He's a fantastic British comedian,
Yes.
and definitely the type of comedian, because Hitchhiker's Guide is a comedic work.
it is.
the kind
I
of-
laughed so much just reading it. I can't imagine him reading it to me.
Right, with perfected comedic pauses and whatnot. I would definitely... I have not listened to the one that he reads,
I haven't either. I need to.
but I want to.
Yeah.
So if you guys want a free audiobook or a free 30-day trial, go to audibletrial.com/ProactiveSlackers. Hook yourself up with that.
Yeah. Is it Slackers or Slacker?
Just Slacker. I
Okay.
apologize. audibletrial.com/ProactiveSlacker.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you are a proactive slacker.
Well,
That's
we
what
certainly are.
I feel like that's an appropriate term for any internet dweller.
Yeah. Yeah. If you've ever contributed to the internet, you're a proactive slacker.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a good adjective.
I think so.
Also, you mentioned earlier that we got some email from Ranji.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Feedback time.
Yes. While you were looking up that... Oh, do you already have
I
it?
already have. Boom.
Wow. You're on top of this, Nick.
You always seem surprised by that.
Well, it's because
Okay,
you have fancy
this is-
technology.
It's true. If you had a smartphone, you'd be on top of this. You wouldn't have to be using your laptop for Twitter.
Well-
you could just be using an app.
Hey.
Okay. So Ranjita sent us an email, not just. Anyway, she writes in, "Hello, Devin and Nick. Happy late New Year to you guys. I hope you enjoyed the Christmas New Year's break. I've enjoyed the break, going on family trips to Melbourne, and I went to the Australian Open, and she attended a wedding. So she had a nice break,
Nice.
which kind of late, I'm gonna say.
It's fine.
Okay.
It's still
right.
within,
Okay.
the same month or so.
Okay. It's close enough. She goes on, unfortunately, I'm still using my phone to write emails. However, in the next few weeks, I might be getting a new computer so I can write my emails on a proper computer. Yay.
Ranji, just want to say, don't take your ability to write emails on a phone for granted. As a proud dumb phone owner, I will attest,
Unwarranted pride.
I cannot write an email on my phone. That's
No.
an ability I do not have.
No.
So the fact that you can write email mobily from wherever you are.
Are you sure you can't? I feel like a lot of phones you can send a text message to an email address.
I have tried. I cannot.
Okay.
My phone is that bad, Nick.
It's perpetually entertaining to me how bad your phone is.
Well,
I imagined the other day as I pulled out my smartphone and checked my email and a bunch of other stuff, what it must be like for you to pull out your phone, check the time, and put it away.
yeah, and?
And I felt sorry for you. Anyway, Ron G goes on to say, I'm going to keep this email short, but I won't be emailing you guys for a while because I have a very busy month of university, and she wants to talk to us soon. So
Awesome.
kind of just hanging in. She sent a follow-up email, though.
Okay.
This one's helpful. She congratulated us on getting our sponsorable.
Our sponsorable?
I
Our sponsorable.
combined the entire sentence, sponsorship with Audible. Combine that all into one word.
You're being efficient, Nick. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Sponsorable.
Sponsorable. So she congratulated us on that, and then also was asking about helping spread the word of the podcast to try to increase our fan base. She complimented us on increasing our fan base recently, significantly, and so she wanted to know if she could help do that.
Yes.
And so, yes, absolutely. Tell your friends and your family, anyone who will listen to your opinion.
Yes. Pretty much. We really appreciate you, Ranji, for taking such an interest. First off, I just want to say, you said you want to be writing in emails for a while because you had university.
Completely understand.
I would definitely say, my just general advice, take it or leave it. Your university, probably more important than listening to our podcast, I would say.
Yes.
Definitely
Prioritize that for sure.
Definitely focus on your studies first, because we want you to be successful.
Right.
In all of life's endeavors.
Yes.
Secondly, thank you for being such a dedicated fan. You and Jan Schneider, probably our two biggest fans.
Yeah, we love you guys.
And just the fact that you are actively seeking to help us expand our fan base is kind of cool.
It's amazing.
And there are definitely ways you could do that.
Yeah.
Just, I guess the most basic way, and this will sound like really mundane advice, but just share our content with people you think would be interested in it. That's really internet success comes down to sharing.
Yes,
for the most part.
So it's just like kindergarten.
Yes. That's why viral videos become viral,
and it's obsessed with cats.
Yeah. Which is
it all makes sense. I've figured out the internet. It is simply kindergarten.
It is simply kindergarten.
Yeah,
cats and sharing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's such a depressing.
Is it? So we're striving for success at kindergarten.
No, well, just on a large scale, what does that say about our society? That's kind of depressing when you think about it.
It's regressed to kindergarten?
Yeah.
Maybe.
We've taken the most impressive tool ever created at our disposal, unlimited access to unlimited information everywhere. Yes. And we've regressed to kindergarten.
Absolutely.
Cat videos.
You're welcome.
We've used that vast technological opportunity to
I feel like a lot of people use it correctly. There's a lot of places that use the internet to its full potential.
Yeah, but it's skewed. For the most part, it is, let's get, 200 million views about this cat falling off a dresser.
Yeah.
Versus people trying to, endeavor to support NASA and discover.
To be fair, I think that's just a macrocosm of microcosms across the country. Everyone has always done that on a very small scale. The internet just lets you do it on a large scale.
I guess that's true.
So
it's like a hyperbolized microcosm of life.
Yeah.
There we go.
I would say so. Anyway, the best places to help spread the word about us is anywhere on the internet.
Yes.
Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, any place where people can easily see the information and react to it and subscribe or, listen to the podcast or whatever. If they can easily go from hearing about us to interacting with us, that's the best way to do it.
Yes. Any social networking site, pretty much, given that we are an internet-based company, is probably the best way. Directing them to our website, which I believe is working properly now.
I think so. So, ProactiveSlackerMedia.com.
Yes. Really just directing them to anything, especially the video podcasts, because it does take a lot of production time to make with not the biggest outcome in terms of consumption of said product.
To be fair, we've had one and it's been up for 4 days.
True. But,
okay.
Just ways that you could help us. And just interacting, honestly, is the best way. Just interact, send emails, build a community, have fun with.
Well, let's not put it all on them. We're trying to help build a community.
True. No. I just mean being able to converse with like-minded people about random stuff is always fun.
Absolutely.
The goal, basically, have fun and share the fun with other people.
Exactly.
Is how you do that. And there you go. That's how you can help us succeed in all endeavors.
I'll also just thank you.
Yes.
For being a fan. Anyone watching, the one viewer that we have, thank you. As well as all the listeners we have, thank you.
Yes. That was very sentimental.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Okay.
Another way, actually, I just thought of one other way.
Oh, did you?
That you could help support us is with our Patreon page.
Oh, you can, monetarily.
Yes. That is patreon.com/PSM. Nick, have you ever heard of Noise Trade?
No.
Noise Trade's really cool. You should check it out.
Okay.
It's basically a site for musicians,
Right.
and basically they could.
Is it anything like SoundCloud?
No.
Okay.
Basically, they put up their albums, and you can download it, but you can set the amount that you want to pay for the download.
Oh, okay.
So like,
I haven't heard of that site, but I've definitely heard of bands doing that.
yeah. So basically, it's like, oh, well, you could download the album for free, or if you really want to help support them, you can like pay $100 for an album.
Exactly. And this is the reason internet piracy exists in my mind, is because they make content too hard to get and too expensive. So if you can
not a good quality. Like they're like, here's something that's all right,
yeah,
and we're gonna charge you a ridiculous amount of money, and it may not even work getting to you.
This is surely one of those places that makes it easy to acquire music, namely, and easily pay for it. People will pay for it.
Yeah,
they'll definitely pay for things. It always feels weird to just take something, but if that's the easiest way to acquire it, then you'll do it.
Right.
So
yeah,
that's awesome.
Noise Trade's really cool. That's how I've gotten the past couple albums that I've downloaded. It's through Noise Trade. It's really awesome. And have you heard of Subbable?
I have heard of Subbable.
It's a YouTube platform created by the Vlogbrothers, actually. And it's basically the same concept. Like, if you want to help support a YouTube show, you can
subscribe to content.
Yeah, and then you could set the amount of money that you want to give per month to that show. It could be $0. It could be however much you want. Patreon is basically the same thing. You could visit our Patreon page, and then there's a little window off to the corner, and you can select how much you want to give per month. It could be $1 a month.
Right.
And, that might seem like, oh, well, I'm only giving $1 a month. How could that help? Well,
if everyone gives $1 a month, that's a lot of dollars.
Yes. Or if even just one person gave $1 a month, then we could upgrade.
In 600 months, we can purchase something.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, even just like simple little things like fancying up our set. I say.
You mean this wall and this table that I found?
Yes. Yeah. In the corner of your bedroom? We're professional.
In my bedroom.
Did I did you not want the information given out to you?
No. We've mentioned before that this is always recorded in my bedroom.
Yes.
Now it's just also video recorded in my bedroom.
True. But yeah, that would help basically getting us professional lights. We're using
lamps.
2 lamps right now.
2 lamps.
Just normal house lamps because we can't afford studio lighting.
One of which is Devyn's, one of which is mine. We didn't have 2 lamps. I didn't have 2 lamps.
We teamed up.
Yeah,
we united forces,
true.
and now we have all right lighting.
It's all right.
But yeah, basically, if everybody that listened to our podcast gave $1 a month, we'd be able to afford studio lighting relatively soon.
Absolutely.
And maybe get a better webcam, better audio setup, all that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
Be able to get our site redone.
Like glasses? What are you talking about? Site?
Like our website. Nick.
Our.
We're an internet-based company. What do you think I meant when I said site?
I don't know. Earlier you talked about you couldn't see the screen. You had to crawl across the room to see the monitor.
My vision is going bad.
Yeah. Right. That's what I thought. I thought SIGHT, but you meant SIT.
Well, I do need to fix that as well.
Right. But that probably not with company funds.
True. So if you want to help us out, you can head over to patreon.com/BSM and do that.
Don't have to, though. Definitely don't have to.
No, definitely.
It's always free forever.
Yes. We will always do the same stuff. We just like providing entertainment.
Yes.
And building a community. That's the motivation in it for us, is doing what we love to do. It's not about the money. The money just helps us do what we love to do better and how we want to do it.
Yeah.
Right now we're limited by what we have. So it's always going to be free. We're going to be doing the same stuff. Do not feel pressured. We're not guilt-tripping you. It's just whether or not you want to do it. So.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, you brought up eyesight.
I did.
My vision.
Well, I also need new glasses. Not because my vision, because I got a puppy, and he's eating my glasses.
Your dog
has eaten a lot of things.
He's the devil.
I have spent like $100 in replacement cords.
Well, cords, he got your glasses, and you tell me about your mouth guards, which is just, that's just straight up gross.
Yes, it is. I grind my teeth at night, which is bad. The dentist told me so. He said I should get mouth guards. He recommended I buy a custom-made $3,000 one. I said no, and then I left, and I went out and bought these little mouth guards. They're called Grind No More. I don't know. They're pretty cheap, but you use them for a couple days, and then you throw them away. They're like, but it's basically a piece of rubber that is between your teeth, so you don't grind your teeth together. You grind your teeth against rubber. And for some reason, if Rocco, my puppy, gets into my room, he will go immediately to those and try to eat them.
Which is always fun then when you get them back, having to put those in your mouth.
Why would you make me picture that? Why would you do that?
Why not?
Because that's disgusting.
Yeah, you rinse the mouth and rubbing
No.
alcohol.
No. Did I mention they were disposable? They're disposable. You can throw them away.
The bacteria from the dog's mouth helps build up your immune system.
No.
And you're safe. They
No.
did a Mythbusters.
Did you know that human mouths are actually dirtier than dogs' mouths?
Yeah, I was just about to
Okay.
say they did a Mythbusters on that because that's been a common myth
Right.
forever. They did a Mythbusters on that, and it's true.
Yeah,
Dogs' mouths are actually cleaner.
they are.
So if you wanted, you could make out with your dog and be just fine. See, now that's an image you probably don't want in your head. But I just went there. I took it from here
Right.
to here. So
Stop.
you're welcome.
Okay. Well,
Did you not want to
no,
go
I
there?
don't know. I don't know where I want to go. I want to go home, but I'm here already. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, my vision has been going.
right,
Granted, I haven't got my prescription updated for 2 years.
you should do that.
But I was driving. Driving now has become. I'm like,
That's
what?
bad.
I
That's
can't see.
part of what convinced me to originally go to the doctor. I thought I was fine, and then I couldn't read a sign that was far away. I was like, oh no.
Well, and it's really my right eye's fine.
Yeah, mine too, actually.
My left eye has a astigmatism.
Yeah.
And I think it's getting bad enough to the point the main issue now, I don't think is necessarily my eyesight. It is to a bit, but and it only happens occasionally. I think when my contacts dry out. I'm not entirely sure why the reason is. It's happening a bit right now.
You mean the contacts that you're supposed to replace daily that you replace monthly?
Well, it's supposed
That
to be
those dry out?
they're the contacts I have, you're supposed to wear for 2 weeks in a row. But you're supposed to take them out every night and put them in the saline solution.
Sure.
And you're only supposed to wear them for 2 weeks and throw them away. I wear them 24 hours, 24/7, for roughly 3 months, and then throw them out. So that could be, part of the reason why.
I think that is the reason. Just saying. That's my opinion.
But my left eye's been acting up, and you might have seen it if you're watching the live stream. Me kind of rubbing my left eye a bit. It's because my contact has been doing this weird thing where when I blink, it sticks to my eyelid, and so when I unblink, it slides up into my eye socket and just stays up there and just chills. It's like, hey, bro, I'm gonna.
It just sounds so terrible.
It is.
It sounds awful.
It is.
Fix it. Because I don't like you describing that even. It makes my eye feel weird. Now I feel like I have to rub my eye.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Something I forgot to mention.
Okay.
We were talking about noise trade and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I love how basically there are ways for content creators to make money
Yes.
and
It's important.
and doing cool stuff. And I actually downloaded a song off of iTunes. I never do that
Yeah. I haven't done that in years.
because Spotify.
Okay.
I could go and listen to any album I want for free on Spotify and just have to listen to an ad every 10 to 12 songs.
Yeah. Spotify's great.
I love Spotify.
Yeah. If you had a smartphone, you could listen to it in the car.
I could, but I do not have a smartphone.
Right. Just saying.
So
that's my new thing. I'm going to point out every time you describe something in your life the way the smartphone can make it better.
Gotcha.
I'm going to do that now.
But there's this song I got off of iTunes. And again, I never use iTunes anymore.
Right.
But this guy's song was just so cool. It sounded awesome, but the concept was amazing. And I'd highly recommend you guys going out and downloading it if you want. It's only $1. Is this guy growing up, he loved cycling.
Sure.
Just absolutely loved it. And now he's a composer.
Okay.
And he's like, I want to find a way to merge these two things. And
Those
so,
don't seem like they go together.
well, here's how he did it.
Okay.
He basically made a song using audio samples that came from sounds made by a bike. So he just got a bike and just started.
It's kind of like Julian Smith's Jeep Techno. Jeep.
Exactly.
I said Jeep Techno instead of
Jeep.
Techno Jeep.
If you guys haven't seen that video, by the way, go watch that. Just type in Techno Jeep in YouTube.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's similar to that, except instead of doing it all in one take, he just
Right.
recorded all the individual sounds and then edited together and mixed together a song out of it. No effects added, no distortions or pitch changes or anything, just the sounds from the bike.
Interesting.
So cool. He did really cool things too, the video is really awesome. Getting a violin bow and just taking along the spokes and seeing what sound that would make.
See, that sounds like nails on a chalkboard bad to me right
no,
now.
it sounded a lot like when the people get out their crystal glasses and then just play those.
Oh, yeah.
It sounded like one of those.
Okay, I can see that.
And it's like a really just relaxing song. It's like very chill and it's just nice to listen to. It sounds really cool.
Are you going to actually mention the title or the artist?
Let me think about it. Yeah, that seems like a good idea.
That's how people can, in fact, listen to it.
It's called Bespoken.
Okay.
By
like the pun.
Bespoken by Johnny Random is his username in iTunes.
Okay.
Go download it because it's an amazing song. I like it.
All right. I will check it out for sure.
But that being said, that's about pretty much all I had to talk about this week, unless you had anything else.
No. We should definitely check the Twitter one last time.
We should. Oh, and I did think of one last thing, which was the Super Bowl is coming up.
I'm not looking forward to it. I'm going to have to be working and making all the pizzas. Between 700 to 900 pizzas in one day.
Well, yeah. So you work at, for those of you who are new and listening, Nick, you work at a pizza shop.
Yes, Papa Murphy's.
And
good pizza,
Yeah. But you're going to be busy as all get out.
Oh, so busy.
I will not because...
Do you want to come to Papa Murphy's?
No.
I'll pay you.
No. I work at a car wash. I'll be getting paid to sit and do nothing because no one comes to the car wash anytime there's a football game. I'm not a sports person. I don't really care about the Super Bowl. I'm one of those people that my only interest in the Super Bowl, big, bulky guys
in tight spandex
throwing a ball.
Right.
Like, to me, I don't see... I see why people are interested, but to me, it's, like, not entertaining at all. It's just like, eh.
Yeah, I don't like it. Especially football. I'm definitely more of a soccer fan, but I don't care about the Super Bowl at all. So,
yeah.
If you were coming to us expecting any sort of care, you didn't receive it.
Exactly.
Sorry.
I apologize.
It doesn't even matter to me that the Broncos, our home team, made it.
Exactly. That's why
it still doesn't matter.
Colorado's just exploding right now. It's like the Broncos are in the Super Bowl.
There was some rally downtown. It was so bad.
Yeah, I'm
like
just
traffic and whatnot.
I'm just like I don't honestly don't care.
Well, okay. It's hard to say I don't care. I was actively rooting for their downfall all season.
The Broncos?
Yeah, because they were winning perpetually, and every time they won, the next game day was busier.
Because at work you would have to make more pizzas.
Yeah. So I normally don't care. I don't cheer for any team particularly, but this time I was actively cheering for them to go down because they were making me work so much harder.
That's the most first world problem ime ever.
You guys are too successful making my job too successful. Stop.
Yeah. I don't want to make more money.
Okay.
But my sole interest in the Super Bowl is
well, I don't make more money. I don't get paid on pizza commissions, although I kind of wish I did. I make the same amount of money if it's a Thursday night and I sit there in the office all day, or if it's Super Bowl Sunday and I make 700 pizzas. Same amount of money.
Well, have fun with that.
I won't.
Okay, good. This makes me happy.
Oh, I knew it would.
My sole interest in the Super Bowl is the commercials. A lot of people are like that. It's like, the commercials are awesome.
Right.
But I don't really care about the game. I'm that way, except have you seen what they're doing this year with Super Bowl commercials?
I saw a YouTube ad, I believe, about a sneak peek.
Yeah.
At a Super Bowl commercial.
They're doing sneak peeks, and some commercials, they're just even uploading early. It's like, why? I feel like this is, from a marketing standpoint, people look forward to watching the Super Bowl for the commercials. That's the only time that ever happens.
Right.
Normally, commercials come on and, oh, this sucks. I just want to watch my show. This is the only time of year people are actively watching television, hoping to see commercials.
It's true.
And watch them. But now you're doing early access and preview commercials. I feel like, from a marketing standpoint, that's just okay, well, now they've seen the commercial. Why would they tune in?
Because it's a football game.
Well, yeah, but for the people who don't care about the sports side.
I feel like the majority of people care about both. I feel like more people will attend parties to see the commercials than would normally just to watch the game.
Right.
I'll give you that. But I think that roughly the same amount of people are going to be watching.
Gotcha. Well, I just don't understand the whole showing the commercials early. I don't either. I don't see the marketing. I mean, these people, make millions of dollars and spend millions of dollars just to put these ads up on the Super Bowl. I'm sure they're way smarter than me in terms of marketing, but I still don't see the marketing.
Last year, did you try to watch any of the Super Bowl commercials online at all?
I thought you were going to ask during the game. Did not watch them during the game. I watched some of them that I heard were good afterwards online.
Right. They made it pretty difficult, especially They just had a very strange way of displaying the ads online after the game, and I feel like corporations are still struggling to figure out how best to use the internet to their advantage, and this definitely seems like a symptom of that.
Yeah,
Like they don't know that this is gonna decrease viewership for the actual game, or they don't like.
this is something that I could go on for hours about.
Okay, well, let's not.
No, I won't. I'll just
Okay.
touch on it briefly. New media
Mm-hmm.
and the internet is this weird thing that started off as like gimmicky and blah blah blah,
Right.
and now it has legitimate production value to it. Like people are
Yes.
actually, wow, this is a way to make money. The people are making careers off of this. YouTube has maker studios where you can just,
Yes, it does.
like legitimate television studios where you could go in to make your YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is an actual thing, actual entertainment, quality entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
But traditional media is looking at it like it's funny because it used to be. I feel like new media started off trying to be a stepping stone to get into traditional media.
Yes,
initially,
absolutely.
like that's why a lot of YouTubers started YouTubing is because like, oh, well, I want to work on TV shows or I want to make a movie, and this will be my little I guess-
Portfolio
yeah.
almost, yeah.
And now it's almost reversed where traditional media is trying to invade new media, but they don't understand.
How?
Yeah. And because they didn't, with traditional media, they didn't grow up having to find creative ways to make super good quality stuff for not much money.
They
like
needed
just,
something, they hired a guy.
yeah. They're like, okay, well, this will take too much time or money, so let's hire this guy to do it and have this huge production company doing all these various things for millions of dollars. And for example, we talked about this when we reviewed the video game high school finale on the Shorts and Series podcast. But Freddie Wong, who's a YouTuber, he's like, okay, you can make the same quality level stuff. You just have to be smart about how you spend your money.
Yes.
So
and he's unique in that he actually posts his budgets and what he actually spent money on.
yeah, like they raised, I want to say $1.3 million for Video Game High School Season 2. $1.3 million. In the traditional media world, that is nothing. But he made the equivalent of half of a season of television, which would have been multiple millions of dollars.
Yeah, absolutely.
For just what he did for $1.3 million.
Yeah.
Like, that seems like a lot of money, but compared to traditional media, that's nothing. And so traditional media doesn't have this upbringing of having to be creative and find ways to
Exactly. They
get...
would never use 2 lamps to illuminate a podcast studio made in a bedroom.
Yeah, they'd be like, well, we can't do the live broadcasting until we get professional lighting, so let's not even bother. Yes, there might be some people that watch, but no, we want to go all out or nothing, right? So it's weird. I think this whole Super Bowl pre-roll commercial thing and just traditional media at large, like there's a lot of actors that are trying to get their own YouTube channels running, but it doesn't work. Even though they're immensely successful in the movies and TV shows they're in, but they try to do their own YouTube channel. It's like, no, you need to connect. There has to be conversation. It's not just you putting out a performance and putting on YouTube. You have to interact with people. So it's just interesting. That's why I like new media a lot better. I enjoy viewing traditional media and movies and TV shows. But in terms of participating and having a community, I feel like new media is far more suited for that.
Absolutely. I would agree. We're definitely over on time.
Yes, we are. We just got too excited. It's our first live stream.
It's to be fair. Thank you for everyone who tweeted in, especially Daryl.
Yes.
We love you. We thank you.
We are
You're the best.
For those of you listening, we are scheduling having Daryl on the Nerd News podcast.
Yes. Hopefully. It would be amazing.
And
we'd love to do that.
We're just working out some scheduling stuff and whatnot. Hopefully that'll be happening soon. We're just working out. Could be a month from now. Could be 2 months from now. But we'll hopefully have him on, and we'll be able to talk backstories of podcasting and general nerdery.
Yeah, it will definitely be awesome. So thank you to the one viewer who has stayed with us the entire podcast.
You're dedicated.
Yes, probably also Dan.
Yes.
So thanks, Dan, for tweeting. I like my beard too, guys. You know,
Nick, the clear winner
of the cool contest. Yeah.
Yes. But that being said, I think it's going to wrap up our podcast.
I think so.
All right. So thank you guys for watching again. Your continued support is definitely why we continue to do this. And we want to let you know how you can connect with us even more.
Absolutely.
Yes. So if you want to check out our website, you can definitely do so.
ProactiveSlackerMedia.com.
If you want to follow us on Facebook, you could do that.
Facebook.com/ProactiveSlackerMedia.
You could also follow us on Twitter.
Twitter.com/PSM_company. That's how we'll be talking to you during live podcasts.
Yes. Also, if you want to be awesome, like Ranjita or Jan, then you can definitely send them some feedback.
Our email is feedback@ProactiveSlackerMedia.com. You can also call our Google Voice line, and we can play your feedback on the show. It is 720-295-0885. Just leave a voicemail message there, and we will listen to it and talk about it.
Yep. Another way that you could get feedback to us is in the YouTube comments of the video podcasts. So definitely go check out our YouTube page.
Yes, we'll definitely be reading those and responding to them.
Yes. That's youtube.com/ProactiveSlackers.
Yes, missed my cue there.
Yeah, you were supposed to say that. I will.
Thanks.
Thanks
for getting my back. That's a new one. I don't say that every week. I haven't gotten used to that over 44 episodes.
Well, that's fine because with my superior skills as a presenter, I will do your job for you. That's what I'm here for.
All right, I'm out.
Because I'm clearly better than you. Is what I'm trying to say.
I thought I won the cool contest.
Well, you won the cool contest. That just means I'm a better worker.
Okay. Is it? Is that okay?
That's exactly how it works.
All right.
And speaking of social networking, we have our own personal Twitters if you want to give us a follow there.
Yes, I'm at ProSlackerNick.
I'm at Devynn_H. It's spelled weird. It's DEVYNN_H. So you can definitely go follow us there.
Yes.
Also, if you want to help support us again, you can go to patreon.com/PSM or our Cafe Press store.
Yes, and you can purchase perhaps a mug of some kind. I don't know.
If you're watching the video podcast or the live stream, you will see Nick.
Not elegantly holding up a mug.
Yes.
That features our logo.
It's right there. You can check it out. You could get our logo on your stuff.
Yes.
We're working getting more designs up for you guys so you can have cooler stuff to put on your shirts.
Absolutely.
And forgot to let you guys know in the last Shorts and Series podcast what we're going to be watching next week.
Yes.
We're going to be watching...
Understandably, if you now know the story behind that night's recording.
Yes.
Understandable.
It was late. We were tired.
Right.
We did not get to everything.
Exactly.
But for those of you who are watching the Shorts and Series podcast, we're going to be reviewing Platoon of Power Squadron, Episode 2, Part 1.
Yes, I'm excited. Hopefully we can get Jake Jarvie on again.
Yes.
That was amazing.
That was a fun interview.
Yes, it absolutely was.
That was quite fun. And that's going to wrap it up. I want to thank you guys for watching. You could join us next week at presumably the same time.
Yes.
For another live stream.
10:30-ish.
Yes. Thursday night for the live stream. The podcast itself will be up Friday.
Yes.
For the Proactive Slacker podcast. You could also join us Sunday night for the Shorts and Series live stream, and that will be up on Monday.
Yes. About the same time, 10:30-ish, as when it will be live.
Yes, and the video podcast are a new thing we're doing. Those are usually going to go up the day after the audio version.
Yes. It does take time to edit, so.
Yes. And that being said, that's going to wrap it up.
Yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
See you later. There's something that has to be done here. Which, there go the lights again. If the power dies on us, this is going to be an audio-only podcast.